Hi, my name's Jack Soul, and welcome to the RockBoard Challenge. So essentially, the RockBoard Challenge is the team at RockBoard has sent me out a random box of pedalboard building supplies, and I don't know what's in the box. And the challenge to me is that using everything in the box, I have to build the best and most capable pedalboard while being able to supplement the build with supplies that I already have. So I'm so excited to be working with RockBoard on this video, and I can't wait to get into it. This video is going to be split into 3 sections. The first section is going to be the unboxing, and because I don't know what's in it, I'm going to be sharing my initial thoughts as I'm seeing it with you guys of what this pedalboard could turn into. The second part is going to be the planning and building phase, and we're going to be using the RockBoard online editor to do this, to keep it as clean and as tight as possible. And then the third part of the video will be getting some initial sounds and playing around with some combinations of sounds while making sure everything's working. So I can't wait to get into this video. This is going to be the first section of the unboxing. Let's get into it. Alright, let's see what we got. Okay, so I was correct in wondering if the pedalboard was essentially the same size as the box, and we're seeing from the top-down camera that we have the Quad 4.3 pedalboard. Okay. That's awesome. This is just a massive pedalboard, so I can already tell we have a space station on our hands. Okay, I think RockBoard has truly outdone themselves with this combo, so let's take a look. The handle, RockBoard handle set. Okay, so yeah, I've saw these online. You can put these little things over your pedals LED just to make them dimmer. We have a full set of pedal risers. It's looking awesome. Okay, we got some interlocking tape. I'm really psyched about that. I'm definitely gonna need some of that. Dust covers, wild, awesome. We have that's awesome. The RockBoard LED light kit. So this is gonna be one completely decked out pedalboard. We have the RockBoard Power Mod ISO DC1 multi-power supply. So you can see how it kind of is so this is a module. Wow. Right on. I don't know if I've ever even seen that one. This is awesome. And we have RockBoard Mod 4. So this is a input and output with wireless capability. So this board is really going to be decked out. So, wow. Okay. Well, RockBoard. So we got some more tape and zip ties, but wow, RockBoard, you have outdone yourself, and this is going to be one epic pedalboard. So here's the size of the board, just even right in front of me here. And you know what, like when I saw the size of the box, I was anticipating a big board, but this is actually a perfect size. Like, I don't know if you've maybe seen some of my other pedal boards, but that is an awesome size to get started with, and I can't wait to do more strategizing. I have a few ideas already. I don't think I'm gonna have to compromise too much on how many pedals I can fit on this, so I can't wait. Let's get to stage 2, planning and building. All right, let's start with the planning. This is one of my favorite parts. You get to really see the board come together. So I already have the pedals pulled up that I have in mind for this board. And like I said, my task is to build the best and most capable pedal board. So I want it to have the most creative elements, and I want it to sound, have the best drive sounds. I just want it to be the greatest overall that I can possibly make. So with that being said, let's start with the overdrives. So I think I'm going to start overdrives. So I want to leave just enough space near the bars there to get chords up through. So I think that's about right. And I'm going to use the expression roller for the Kernam Ridge, because you can actually roll when you use the expression roller between the two presets on the Kernam. So it's not just going from one to the other, it's starting with one and then slowly morphing into the other, and I think it just sounds really cool. So I'm gonna try and include that in this board build. And then of course bringing over the protein. Okay, so just while I'm continuing to work on the layout here, the LVX and Mercury X have a ability to send preset changes. So basically what I'm going to do with the LVX and Mercury X is I'm going to partner them via MIDI with one other pedal. So the Mercury X, I'm going to partner with the Gen Loss, because I never use the Gen Loss without at least some type of reverb. It really thrives in that setting, and the reverb before it. And then I'm going to partner the LVX with the Strymon Deco, and the Deco is going to be doing a lot of double tracking and slapback, while again we're in MIDI, so we can go right over to vibrato or flanger or something like that if we want. So I think I'm going to move these two things over. Maybe a little something like that. So one more thing before we get to the actual build is I think that this is really cool that I'm going to be able to work with this and save my pedal board. So as the video comes up on YouTube, my board will be on the online configurator. And I don't think that anybody's going to go out and build the same board that I have. But I think what's really cool is that you'll be able to see what will actually fit. And then you could go to my YouTube video and see how it does coming to life in this configuration. So I think that that's really cool and really helpful. And if you're newer to pedal board building, I think that this is going to be an amazing tool for you to kind of check out and look at what is possible and where you want to route things. So I think this is a really good start. This is something, and in person, maybe we'll see if we can fit that expression roller onto the board somehow. All right, let's get to building. So here we have everything laid out in the exact same way that we had them laid out on the RockBoard online configurator. and I'm liking it a lot. There's a lot of good things going on here, and I also am seeing some space. So let's go ahead and try and see if some way we can work the uh, Chase Bliss expression roller onto the board. Kind of like that. So go theremin and then stereo throughout the rest. All right, so let's get to prepping the bottom of the board. I'm going to do these main things before I get pedals on top because I want to make sure I can put lots of down pressure on the items that I'm mounting to the bottom of the board with dual lock. So that's going to be easiest before the pedals go on. So let's get into that. As you can see, I already have my modules mounted. All you do to mount the modules is you take off this little thing that goes on the front and you self-tap the screws that come with it. My only bit of advice for this process is just take your time because the self-tapping screws take a little bit of patience to make sure that you're getting those self-tapping threads in the right spot. But once they're there, you just crank it out with the provided screwdriver and you're good to go. So here we go with the mounting stuff underneath the board. All right, the bottom of the board is all prepped and ready to go. And so just as you're kind of seeing what's happening under here, so the power supplies are here and the IEC outlet is coming out of the RockBoard input output mod here. So the IEC will go from here over to the chocks. The chocks can run. Okay, so are you ready to hear about my first mistake and setback with this build? Is that when I flipped the pedal board over to start working on the bottom, I didn't flip the plan over in my head. So basically from here, it's supposed to be mirrored. So bit of a setback, but no big deal. Everything is able to be edited from here. So the modules will switch. DC will switch with the Tonex. I might leave the MIDI box where it is because it didn't really matter where it was going to end up. But I might switch it anyway so it doesn't. All right. Now we finally get to put some pedals on top of the board. And remember, this is the RockBoard challenge. So we are using everything that RockBoard sent to us. So let's start with the RockBoard handles. This seemed to be the best spot I could find for the handles. So I'm going to put them on right there right now so that I make sure that I don't take up too much space with the pedals. Okay, so we're really starting to get moving on this project now. Comes the next step, which is placing the tape down on the pedal board. All right, this is a little bit of the calm before the storm, and what I mean by that is everything always just looks so good and so organized before you start wiring, powering, connecting MIDI, and that is going to be a big task on this board. But as you can see, everything's stuck to the top, and the bottom is looking great. So basically, for cabling, there'll be a mixture of TRS style. So this is TRS to dual mono for doing stereo. There'll be regular ribbon Ernie Ball patch cords. I have 4 or 5 of these. Also these RockBoard. You can see that RockBoard longer cables just in case I need to run. And yeah, these are the RockBoard stereo, mono to TRS to mono. So lots to work with. And I just want to say too, typically I don't use custom cabling because once you've made the custom cable, it's all of a sudden just the equivalent to like one of these, a good soldered, pre-soldered cable. And for someone who reworks their board a lot, it's, you know, after you've made your custom cable, it becomes a non-custom cable unless you want to continue to cut it and make it shorter, at which I would be way too tempted to do, and I would just keep losing length on my cable. So that's why I'm perfectly fine with just using prefab ones. And on the bottom of the RockBoard, you can see those little stabilizers. I'm going to be running the cords through those little underneath the track stabilizers as much as possible. That's going to be huge for cable management. So let's get to it. Okay, so the board's flipped upside down here so we can get a good look at what's going on underneath. And I'll say first as well that having the RockBoard pedalboard handles has been really awesome because right now they're resting specifically on 2 boxes. So the handles are taking the full weight of the pedalboard. Nothing's resting on any of the pedals, which is really awesome because flipping a board of this size upside down and resting it on the pedal knobs is just an accident waiting to happen, and it's going to end up damaging one of the pedals. So these handles are acting like kickstands, which is really cool. Underneath, though, we're going to start just by chatting a bit about the power. So here are 2 power supplies, and the power comes in through the adapter here to the chocks, which is running essentially half the board over here. And then going out of the chocks, the 24 DC output that's meant to power other power supplies, running all the way over to the RockBoard power supply module, which is essentially running the other half of the board. And I think a really neat part about the module to having it on the front is because there's USB out for power, even if you just need to charge your phone or your laptop when you're out on a gig, or there's another outlet for a pedal if you want to shoot something out but you don't want to get a wall supply, which is really cool. I love that. So the board is fully completed. As you can see, I'm super excited about this whole build. I want to start by just talking about some of the out-of-the-box capabilities, and then we'll get into some sound demos and signal chain. So I'll be using throughout this sound demo the wireless unit that comes with the input-output jack on the module that I have. There's another module with the power that has a USB-C out, so you can charge your phone or your laptop if you're on the road. There's a 9-volt out for another pedal from the front, just in case you want to shoot a pedal out or use something that you didn't fit on the board, or maybe you want to do an amp and cab sim out the back or something like that. The RockBoard handles are amazing, like I said. The light is awesome. I think it's a really neat touch. And then underneath the board, we have the Tonex 1 for direct capabilities, which is what we're doing today. I'll be running an AC30. And we have our MIDI setup. So it's kind of like the modular MIDI setup idea that I was talking about, and I'll get to more about that after the signal chain. So signal chain is Kernum, Protein, Fairfield. Then it goes under the board to the Tonex 1. Then it comes up to Therme, Deco, Chroma Console. And this is where it starts stereo. So then it goes Microcosm, Mercury X, LVX, Mood, Gen Loss. And it goes out stereo right into my interface, and that's what you'll be hearing today for the sound demos. So just quickly on the modular setup, the LVX, the Mercury X is controlling the Gen Loss via MIDI, and then the LVX is controlling the Deco via MIDI. So this won't be a comprehensive full tone rundown of every pedal, but I'm just going to show you some of the highlights and some of the things that I've been really enjoying since I've been able to plug in. So here's my just amp tone. So that's really nice. And this is my always on blues breaker side of the Protein. So it's a great edge of breakup, rhythm tone, bluesy lead possibilities. So just kind of over on the Kernum, which I'm going to be using for my out-of-the-box kind of heavier fuzz tone, and it has a really degraded sound, and it's a mixture of both presets using the expression. So here's what that sounds like. Put on a little reverb and slap back delay. So that's awesome. I love that. Kernum, there's so much in there, and with the expression, I'm excited because again, you can make two presets and set the expression at 5, and it will mold between both of them, which I just think is a really cool feature. So going back to protein, I can add the ODR1 if I want. Shallow water is always going to be a classic. I'm going to add the theremin with that, with some reverb from the Chroma console. So you know what the Chroma console and all of this, we've got some warp delay. But what I'm going to get to quickly right now is how I'm doing the modular MIDI setup. So the MIDI signal is going from LVX to Mercury X to the MIDI box 4 under the board, and then it's going out individually to Deco and Gen Loss. And essentially, the LVX is only communicating with the Deco, and the Mercury X is only communicating with the Gen Loss. And this is kind of the point here is I can go on to the LVX, and I hope you can see the light up through the light dimmers here. But here's a vibrato sound from the Deco. And this is just for example, there's no sound that's being created by the LVX. The LVX was just controlling the Deco. So if I shut the Deco off, nothing. But if I turn that back on with the LVX, we got a nice vibrato. So here's some reverb vibrato. And here's a flanger from the Deco. With a reverb. That's one of my favorites. And then here's a slap back just from the Deco again, nothing from the LVX. And essentially from here on out, using MIDI, I can build onto it using the LVX with those 3 presets. And then if I don't want to be using the Deco, I don't have to add it into the preset. But that exact same thing is going on with the Gen Loss, except I don't have the Gen Loss set to come on. I just have it set to switch the presets, and then if I want the Gen Loss, I can engage the preset that I've made to go with the reverb. So here's the chorus reverb. And here's the chorus reverb with the Gen Loss preset that I have partnered with it. It's honestly, this MIDI setup is going to really help me hone in my reverb vibrato sounds and my LVX deco sounds, so that they're kind of more one and the same, and they fit together perfectly every time, because they're made to go together, and I'm really excited about that. And of course, we've been listening to the mood, but just out of curiosity, we'll create a little bit of a mood pad here. So just kind of put that in the background a little bit, and then I can maybe use my flange with some reverb. So this board's capabilities at the moment seems to be endless, and I love playing everywhere from rock and blues to doing really experimental stuff with my pedal board. And I think this modular MIDI setup with the Mercury X and LVX is really going to help me bring these sounds to life in a more unique way, being so that I can create presets with the deco and generation loss that go with their respective Maris pedal. And I think that it was really smart for Maris to add this feature. So that pretty much concludes this video. Let me know how you think I did with this RockBoard challenge, if I used everything RockBoard sent to me to the fullest capability. I think I did. I think that this board is phenomenal. It's exceeded my expectations on every front. And I just wanted to thank RockBoard for sending this out, and just wanting to join in on this fun challenge. They've been so great to work with, and I think that you should check out some of these products for yourself, and continue to dream up what your next pedal board is going to be like. So again, thanks so much for watching. I couldn't do any of this without you guys, and I really appreciate all the support you've given me, and we'll see you in the next one.